Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily for your Sunday night. Liverpool have drawn 2-2 with Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup 4th round away from home and will require a replay if they are to get to the 5th round. A mixed day, a very, very mixed day for Liverpool players overall. I think I can't see Jurgen Klopp being very happy with that, but look, we'll have a chat with it as it goes on. It will be myself and Keith tonight, probably for about 40 to 45 minutes. It could be a bit longer if you come across with some random questions as well. This show is brought to you by Paddy Power, a bookies, a website and an app. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly and remember to do so with Paddy Power. Here we go. And here we go. It is the FB4 Daily. And Keith, let's get straight into it. Shrewsbury 2, Liverpool 2. And to be honest with you, it was one of those games where we're expected to go through quite easily. We don't really turn up. And I suppose that the senior players are probably the ones you point the most fingers at. But just going on the lineup, was it what you expected? Because it threw in one or two surprises for me.
Yeah, I was surprised at the selection. Pleasantly surprised when I seen some of the names getting wheeled out. I was expecting more from the senior players, as you touched on there, but more or less it was as expected. I think we thought Lallana might have been involved. Surprised to see Lovren and Matip maybe starting at centre back, but other than that, I think it probably would have been as expected. I think the front three would have been what a lot of people were expecting to see. Curtis Jones and SHRLIV certainly in midfield would have been expected. LaRucci and Williams getting a run at fullback. But it was the senior players, the Fabinho, Lovren and Matip. And when I saw them on the team sheet, Gav, I'm like, yeah, this is all right. A bit of experience could be good. Didn't turn out that way. And it sort of reminded me a bit of the MK Dons game earlier in the season when it looked like they couldn't be arsed. It was like they were being punished nearly for being out there. Divock Origi sauntered about that game tonight like he was after getting detention or something, and this was his punishment.
Yeah,
couldn't understand some of that.
Just looking at the lineup, Adrian is in goal. That's fine. Nico Williams as expected. LaRucci as expected. I was a bit surprised that Lovren played. I understand Matip is back in training, probably about 10 days, if I remember right. It could be a bit shorter, it could be a bit longer than that. But
he's there or thereabouts.
Yeah. And Lovren, I suppose, he's only back a couple of days. So that did surprise me. I would have expected probably Fabinho to go in there and he could have done something in midfield. I was surprised to see Kate on the bench as well. But he goes with Fabinho, he goes with SHRLIV and Jones, and then he has the front three of Origi, Elliott, and there's one other player, Minamino, which that didn't surprise me, but it did surprise me around centre half. But look, we're expected to go through this game and we're expected to win it, that kind of way. But when it started off, Shrewsbury looked a bit starstruck, I'm going to be honest with you. They sat very deep. They tried to hit balls over the back of us and got caught offside 3 or 4 times, fairly handily. But there was a threat there. They were showing a little bit, even though there was offside, you were showing they were willing to run in behind and had got pace to trouble us if they got it right. But they did look a bit starstruck. But something early on in the game that struck me was the style of play. And we've spoken, and we've spoken about it loads of times, and we've kind of, I suppose, put this theory forward that, the way this first team plays is drip fed down to the likes of the 23s, the 19s, all the age levels, 4-3-3 or some sort of hybrid of that, pressing when we need to, getting around the ball, winning it fast, turning the ball over, transition, all that sort of stuff. But that style just wasn't there from the outset. We seemed way too eager to be getting balls, A, hitting long diagonals, and B, just being, way too eager to try to get it into the front man instead of being patient and pulling these around and then making space for the likes of Harvey Elliott, who I thought suffered most of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, Gav. I think it was very, as you say, direct diagonal balls into the likes of Origi and that, and it just didn't work. It didn't stick. Nothing was happening. Curtis Jones was getting on the ball a fair bit and was taking a bit out of it, but there was no cohesion to the play. There was no patterns, no rhythm. And you're right, Shrewsbury did look starstruck at the start. They were, they didn't know what to do. They had a plan, which was hit it long and try and get their players in behind, and they stuck with that plan throughout. That was their They made subs, and that's what they brought on, and they stuck with that. Fair play to them. They had a plan, but I just never thought we got to grips with that. You know, we should have. When we bet Everton in the last round, it was a young team that played. One or two differences from this team, but the differences were key in that it was Lallana instead of Fabinho, it was Gomez, and it was Nate Phillips, wasn't it? Nat Phillips at centre back.
Yeah.
And none of them were coming back from injury. So there was a bit more. I know Phillips had been on loan and was only back and filling in, but he was fit, you know what I mean? And there was a bit more presence, a bit more quickness to the play, a bit more sharpness. Today it just looked sluggish, you know. It didn't seem to have a plan from early on. Now, thought there was a few good performers for us. I thought SHRLIV got on the ball well, started well, and tried to make things happen. But even that, there was no calmness. There was nothing to the play that was. If we could have moved them around and we could have pulled them all over the place, you'd like to think they wouldn't have known how to react. But we just never put them under that sort of pressure.
No, like Stephen Mack says, dead right. The old players let the young fellas down badly. I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. Keola comes in with a very interesting point, and he says the players looked like they weren't interested, too complacent and arrogant. That may be throughout the team because of what happened at Everton and the big media hype around the fact they beat Everton's probably 85-90% of Everton's first 11, you know. Dan Jones says it's going to be a mad lineup. Wouldn't be surprised if we lose the replay, and that's not a dig at our young players. I like Shrewsbury. I think Shrewsbury will be well up for it and have nothing to lose. We'll have to wait and see. That is the replay in 10 days time or so. I haven't seen the date for it. Let me see. It all started from the two big boys at the back throwing long balls up to God knows who. Way too eager, you know. And like, if you watch, like, and I know it might sound like a silly comparison, but if we go back to this idea that, you know, the 23s must be watching what the first team are doing, likewise the 19s, you know, and 17s, wherever age groups they're in, right? And if you watch Liverpool play and they know they're coming up against a deep line three at the back, you know, a bit like United last week, you're patient. You play, you play. You get it to your full-backs. If it doesn't work, get it back in the middle and play to the left-hand side, the right-hand side. Right, you might play a little inquisitive ball as opposed into a front man, and if he can't get free, you retain possession, but you keep moving them. And because we didn't seem to want to do that, the likes of Minamino was very isolated. I felt Harvey Elliott was just anonymous in the game because you could see him coming deeper and deeper, trying to get hold of the ball, when he should have been saying, I'll stay up here a little bit, lads, and you just move, and eventually you get it, switch it to me, and I'll have a one-on-one against the fullback. It just didn't seem to work like that at all. Now, don't get me wrong, as I said, there was offsides there that they were caught, and we get a really good goal, like, you know. But still, during that first half, like, we come out of that first half 1-0 up, right? And if you think there's a good cross from Nico Williams that Minamino just misses, you have the goal from Curtis Jones. And other than that, there wasn't a hell of a lot from us in the first half, you know. No. And if you look at their chances, like, one guy is straight through on goal, down the middle of the park, should score, good save by Adrian. He has a second chance there where Nico Williams heads it off Matip, and it's played through there, and he screws it across goal. But they're two really big chances, and, you know, I'll put it to you this way, a striker with a slightly cooler head or a slightly better left foot buries them, and you're 2-1 down, and you would have no arguments at half-time, even though we controlled a vast majority of the ball. Was it arrogance? Was it complacency? Or was it just too many players, senior-wise, just not being at the races?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both. I think there was certainly an arrogance. I think watching the BBC commentary, Ian Wright was saying at half-time, you know, Shrewsbury, they made good chances, they had good chances, but Liverpool looked in control. And he was right, they looked in control, but without doing it. Do you know what I mean? As you said there, we didn't create anything. And even when we got the second goal, I was sitting here watching it, and my missus walked in, said, it's 2-0. Who scored? It's like, yeah, Scaldi OG, blah, blah. And she's like, they're not doing that. And she even said it, what she was watching. She's like, Liverpool don't seem to be creating that in here. Yeah. And it was just one of them games. But I thought, if they had gone in at half-time, if Shrewsbury had given them a bit of a fright at half-time and had got a goal in the first half, it might have come out different. You know, maybe KLOPP would have went through them a bit at half-time and put a rocket up them, but they just came out in the second half and didn't really look much better. There was no urgency with them at all. We're not used to seeing that with this team, Gav. You know, as I said, we're under this impression that everyone's playing to the same level as the A team, you know, for want of a better word. And it's little things like this that bring us back to earth a bit, you know, and say you can't be too arrogant in these games. You know, we're all talking about going unbeaten. We're all talking about, well, you know, the talk is unbeaten, trebles, quintuple, you know, everything like that. Yeah. And it's just a bit of a, bear in mind, you know, we're having a post-mortem. We're still in the cup.
Yeah.
Now, for how long, I don't know, but we're still in that cup. So it's not the end of the world. It's just, we're not used to them. You know, even in the last few years, you'd think, right, we might go out of a cup game against a Premier League team or a Championship team, but League One, you'd expect now we'll go through these handy enough. So maybe it's just a wake-up call some of them needed. I mean, I said on a pod a couple of weeks ago, could have been with yourself and Andy, that if we lost Van Dijk for a period of time, I wouldn't be too upset, because I think Matip and Lovren and Gomez, you could put them in there. I'll tell you, if it was Matip and Lovren in a league game after today, I wouldn't be too confident.
Not right now.
Not match fitness and its sharpness, you know, and that will come back into. But Lovren still has these little lapses. He can play well, but he'll have a lapse and always seem to get punished for them. You know,
we get on to the lapses as I suppose as the game, the talk around the game develops. But listen, I'm not throwing a hell of a lot of weight behind this result. You know, I'm not going to overreact and go, "Oh, that's a fucking disgrace." And don't get me wrong, it was a bad day at the office. It was. You know,
indeed.
I think Matip looked horribly off it, and it's surprising. And like, I know people are going on about Lovren. I thought Matip was worse, although I did think Lovren went into this stage, and I always say it's one of Lovren's stages where he's way too eager. And excuse me, walking out with the captain's armband on, I thought, oh, you know what?
Nightmare.
It's
nightmare.
He feels like he has to prove himself in some way.
Yeah.
He was getting way too tight to forwards. He was getting away with it a little bit, I have to say. At one stage, he just put his hands up and pushed the fella, and how the lad didn't get a free kick was beyond me. But it was one of those, and like, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, I suppose. Fabinho, I think he had 10 minutes against United. He might have had 25, 30 against Wolves. Would I be right?
He's just coming in. He's easing himself back in, and you know, it showed. Yeah. You know, it showed it was a player that hasn't had many minutes in his legs, and you could see that.
And then you know, Matip Lovren, I thought Origi just didn't look interested out on the left hand side. Yeah. You know, and to be honest with you, I don't understand why we just didn't put him through the middle up against their big lad at the back, and just, if you're going to hit balls like that, just go and do that. It sounds a very simplistic tactic, but you might have got more out of him being up front and being more of a focal point rather than running up and down the left wing. You know, Kev says, Gav, what is it you said about Lovren? Boredom. It's a mentality thing. It just, Lovren does go through these stages and during games, you know, and like Kev says there, Lovren has trained for 3 days. I was just very surprised, because we have heard this thing about KLOPP, and if you're back fair enough, he likes to give you a certain amount of time to get back into a rhythm to play. Maybe with it being Shrewsbury, he decided, no, listen, I can take that risk, unless it's the likes of a Firmino, Salah, Mane. As soon as you're back, you're in, because you're that pivotal, you know, that kind of way. KLOPP is trying his best to lose these games, says Stephen Mack. Listen, we're going to get on to KLOPP and his comments after the game as well, because they were quite interesting, and I'm going to put it out there what he said and what his plan is for the replay. I absolutely back him on it.
100%.
You know, so, but look, it gets to half time. It's 1-0. We scored. Sorry, before we talked, the goal itself. It's a good ball up. It's a lovely touch by Minamino. SHRLIV sees the pass, and Jones is gone, because he knows, if I just make this run, it's a great run to make, and hopefully I can be found. It's not the cleanest of finishes, but it's a striker's finish, because get it on target towards the corner, and usually those scuff shots go in, because if you drive it, it hits the keeper's legs. Really good goal, and great to see Jones getting another goal in this competition.
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent goal, to be honest. I thought the whole move, I thought Chirivella's pass, and when they showed the replays, you know, it wasn't just this hit and hope, you know, he looks up, he sees the run of Jones, and I suppose they played under 23s together, they'd be familiar with each other's game. Jones knew, like, he was involved in the build-up, and then he knew, right, this fella will see me and he'll play me in here. It was a great goal. And in some ways, I prefer that to his Everton goal, in the sense that it was something different. Not that the Everton goal was a bit of a hit and hope goal for Jones. It was an excellent goal, you know, it was brilliant. But this was just to get on the run, to get into the box from midfield
and making that run, beyond.
And to get in and take it. I thought it was an excellent goal. I'd say it might have been the cleanest, but I thought the run and everything about it, the intelligence, you know, he knew where the ball was going to go, and in fact, it was a great ball in by Shirlivella. It was excellent, and he got in on it. So yeah, I thought it was a great goal. I thought, and when I seen that goes in, you're thinking, right, nice one, this will do, these will go, but we didn't capitalise on it, you know.
No, we come out in the second half. I was surprised no changes were made. I thought, now having said that, looking at it, I'm thinking, like people are saying that he's trying his best to lose games, but he's probably looking going, no, I'm just going to stick with this because I'm not going to start risking Chamberlain, Salah, Firmino, which he does in the end. But, you know, even a Keita, I'm going to leave it as it is, you know, the kind of way.
Yeah, give them a chance to play and see what he can do before hitting the panic button.
Yeah, like it's going to be one of those where he is just going to stick with what he has, because let's be honest, like you said, people talking about trebles, quintuplets, unbeaten, invincibles. There's one thing on Klopp's mind, and it's the league, and I don't care what anybody says. He has the league on the brain, and until he knows, he's like, okay, Atletico Madrid is in there somewhere, you know, Jordan Diaz run of fixtures, but until he knows that he is, say, down to 9 games left and he's 18 points clear, he doesn't. The league is what it's about, and he knows that. Behind it all, he knows that. So he's not going to make radical changes. Now he does make a couple of changes later in the game, which surprised me, but we get the second half, no changes made. Major dose of hindsight here, but I think that own goal does us no favours. I know it puts us 2-0 up, but I don't think it does us any favours. I think the foot comes off the pedal. I think people get lax. I think people get a little bit too cocky, and the work rate drops. I know it makes it 2-0, but that's what it felt like 20 minutes later. You know that way?
I agree with you there, Gav. I think it was one of them. They looked at it and they said, right, again, arrogance, so this is it. We're going to run in a few goals here, and also these fellas, they won't be able to put it up to us. You know, they're going to lose that kill, and it just wasn't the case. You know, it was poor mentally from us, but I agree with what you said there about not making changes. I mean, if I was going to whip anyone off, I think Divock Origi is one who he can impact games when he comes on. If he starts a game poorly, he doesn't tend to get into it. And I would have been tempted to get him off, but other than that, you don't want to risk too many. As you say, we're playing the League One. The pitch wasn't too bad now. I was expecting the pitch to be a lot worse. I was expecting it to be a bit more of a quagmire. And I says, right, you don't want to risk anyone like the likes of Gomez, you know, Oxlade, Chamberlain on a bad pitch, but it was a decent enough surface there, so there was no excuse for that. They were able to play. I mean, Shrewsbury were able to play the ball around, so there was no reason why I know a lot of our play, we all know, comes from Trent, comes from Robbo. Larouci and Nico Williams are not that standard. They're not switching balls from left to right, pulling teams side to side. They offer different threats, you know, but they weren't going to be doing that.
The funny thing was, like, and I think it was Dylan O'Rourke says there, and he said it very early in the broadcast here. He said Nico Williams' delivery is outstanding and wasn't utilised enough. This is what I'm talking about. If you play to the way we usually play, you get the likes of Minamino on the ball, and you get him feeding Nico Williams. You get him feeding Nico Williams. You get the likes of Chirivella drifting into space and getting the ball out to him, and then you can use it. But he seemed to have a lot of the ball 40, 50 yards from goal. You know, instead of, and that was simply because he couldn't get 30 yards from goal, because if he just went up there, he was just standing against 2 defenders, because they weren't being dragged around at all, you know. Northred says, not being arrogant, but this and the League Cup are a nuisance. We have bigger fish to fry. Nothing else matters. It's the league, end of story. I agree with you. And I think if for argument's sake, if we were to drop a couple of points here and there in the next couple of weeks, and that lead was down to say 10 points, and he has to make a choice because players are tired, I think he takes a bigger risk in the Champions League than he would in a league game. That's just the way I feel. I could be completely wrong, but I feel that's what it is. But look, it's 2-0. I think we drop off. But the signs were there during the first half as how they were getting around us, how they were getting in behind us at times. And
too easy.
Like acres of space. But before the first goal comes, the signs are there. Like Matip hits a disgraceful pass out of the back. Like I don't even know. One, it's not like you can't see the player there. It's not in the right direction, and it hasn't got the pace on it to get where it needs to go anyway. There's so many things wrong with the pass, but you can see it. And then there's a fella having a shot from the edge of the box, and there's nobody in the width of the box trying to block it. There's a lot there. They get the penalty, they score it, and then it's 2-1, and then you're kind of going, lads, step it up here. And it just doesn't come, doesn't it? It just doesn't come.
No. I mean, you think that's the kick up the arse they might have needed here, but it just went the opposite way, And when you were saying there that they were getting all this space, it was happening over and over again. They were getting on the edge of the box, and no one was closing them down. It was, if they'd have been a bit more clinical, they could have tore us apart. They were with the gaps that were opening up for them at the back of our defence, and that's where all our experience was. You just wouldn't have expected to see it happening, but luckily enough, they didn't capitalise on that.
No,
they were taking them shots and just weren't. In fairness, Adrian done well in goal, but they just weren't able to capitalise. A better team
goes in with 2 goals against us in the first half. Paddy Lawson says he misses me. Paddy, I miss you too. I'll give you a shout in the morning. How does that sound? Stephen Max says Gavitt was coming from a mile away even before 2-0. The signs were there. The signs were there, the kind of way. Cooler says it would be embarrassing if we lose at home to Shrewsbury despite playing the kids. Listen, you can kind of go whatever way you want in that, but I watched that game today. Now, I didn't get annoyed over it. I was a little bit disappointed in some performances, but I literally have the league on the brain. I genuinely do. And just give me the league title, and anything else that comes after that is a bonus. That's the way I am. And I probably will be until we get into 8-9 games left and we have a big lead, and then you go, yeah, that's done. Now let's have a look at the Champions League. That's just the way I am. But the second goal, Lovren's being called out an awful lot on it, but it's just bad defending from start to finish. Like there's a couple of mistakes in there you can pick, but Lovren should just stand up. Don't dive in and just stand them up at the edge of the box and let him make a decision. He makes his decision for him, doesn't he? And it's a good finish.
It is a good finish. Your man takes it well, and he was a threat when he came on.
He used to be up in Scotland, didn't he?
Did he? I knew he was familiar, but I didn't know.
I thought he played for Hibs and maybe Rangers.
Was he at Rangers?
I could have sworn that name rings a bell, but anyway, it's a good finish. Like, and in fairness, Adrian saved us on 2 or 3 occasions there today. He just couldn't get to that one. It's a really good finish.
There's no saving that. Your man slotted it. He knew what he wanted to do, and he done it. There was no panicking. You know what I mean? We were saying in the previous weeks when Allison's in goal, strikers are bearing in and they're shitting themselves and snatching at chances. Like that fella, I know it wasn't Allison in goal today, but he went in there and he knew what he wanted to do and he done it. It was fair play to him. I mean, you're right. There's mistakes all over the place there. Lovren always gets the rap on these things because he's always sort of at the scene of the crime. But there's a few you can point the finger at. Going back to the first one, but the penalty was a bit. I know it's touch and go whether it's in the box or whatever, but it's a bit mad that they don't have VAR in some games and do another in the
don't
cup.
Have the
facilities.
Because they have VAR. They had VAR at United Wolves.
Yeah, they had it
which
in
was
Spurs,
a third round replay.
Spurs and Southampton.
Or Spurs,
Spurs Southampton yesterday. They had. I know it's a Premier League ground, but
it's the facilities.
They're looking at it in Leyden Stockley Park. They have cameras, so I don't know what they.
Yeah, but it's the amount of cameras they have and the angles that they have.
Yeah, so no, it's just not that I feel like we were done over or anything. It was just something that got into my head. I'm like, it's a bit mad, like that they don't have it. You think whatever they had to do to upgrade, they could do. But look, it's that's only an aside. It's just something that I was thinking about. Mad that.
No, it is to do with facilities because, from what I understand, wasn't there a big thing a while ago about Swansea? No VAR being at a game for Swansea, and they had the facilities, but because it was in the Championship, they couldn't use it. There was something along them lines with Swansea going back a little while ago. Yeah, where basically they have the facilities there to use VAR, but it wasn't used. It's something to do. There was something around Swansea. I remember that going back. It must be sometime this season. It must be
early in the season.
But we'll have to wait and see. But it's all down to facilities. But a lot of people are commenting here, like Dixon says, no forced teamers and Critchley in charge for the replay. Don't care if we get 6 points. If we get 6 points in the next two. Stephen Wensley tells us that he plays for Kilmarnock and Rangers. So there you go. Avo says, only just come online, boys. Don't know what we've been chatting, but poor display today. No cohesion between anyone. But I will allow this thrown together team that, I'm absolutely fine with that. He was at Rangers, says Avo the Tour, to just confirm. They don't have tellies and walkie-talkies in Shrewsbury, says Dylan O'Rourke. But there was a couple of players there, like, and a draw is a draw. You have to take the replay. Yeah. But I'd say Klopp was probably looking at it, like, with his changes. It's Chamberlain, Salah, Firmino comes on. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chamberlain, Salah, Firmino,
yeah. 2 hours ago, I forget all this stuff. But he brings them on. Now, leading on to the comments after the game, his comments after the game was that he won't manage the team in the replay. And Critchley will be in charge, and there will be no forced teamers involved. Obviously, there was a plan in place for that week, where I think we play West Ham and Southampton, and then I think we have that break, don't we?
Yeah,
there's a break in there, and I think he's obviously
the mid-season break.
Yeah, he's not going to disrupt his mid-season break for his forced teamers, and that's absolutely fine. But looking at them comments after the game, and then looking at what transpired in the last 15, 20 minutes or so, he obviously decided, right, I'll throw these three on. If we get the win, great. If we don't, I'm not having any part of the replay. Do you think a bit of this goes back to the League Cup stuff, where he's just going, well, they done that to me in the League Cup, I'm just going to do this in the FA Cup and two fingers to them?
Yeah, I'd say they obviously knew they had this in the pipeline, and anyway, that look, if this does go to a replay, that's going to be in the week that we're scheduled for a break. You know, worst case scenario, we have to do a replay there. There's no way we're sticking to our break, which is right. I think it's the right thing to do, is to stick. Give all the players a break, or if I don't know if they're planning on going off somewhere or what.
From what I heard, they're not going away.
They're not,
but it will be
Qatar.
But the week that's in it will be a proper week of basically training and working on things. There won't be a week off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I think if that's the plan, is to do that, and they have that penciled in, they're right to stick with that, you know. And some people are saying, oh, it's disrespectful, it's this, it's that. I don't think it is. I think it's just like, look, again, our priority is in order. It's the league, it's the Champions League, and then this is just if we get there, we get there. If we don't, we don't. He didn't want to lose, but I don't think he's going to go taking any risks in the replay just to get us through. It'd be a night game at Anfield. Looking at the games today, I mean, they're a big, strong, physical side. Depending on what sort of team we put out, I don't know who's going to be involved. How weak will it be? The Aston Villa sort of level of team, or will there be, you know, that was very young? Like, will there be the Joneses, the Brewster, I was going to say, the
I think if you're
Elliott's, and
I think if you're picking a team for a replay, and like, don't get me wrong, I don't think there should be much debate on this with regards to Klopp. And people, like somebody says there, the British media will absolutely slam him for this. But at the end of the day, the British media, so what they're saying? You know, stop listening to what they're saying. Like Paddy Lawson says there, we want the league, the rest is a bonus. That's exactly what I've said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the way our outlook should be. And apparently teams have been, somebody else says, teams have been told not to schedule games for that week of the break. And then we have replays thrown into that week. So
like, Klopp where are they even putting games in there?
Yeah.
Why is it being scheduled?
But that's what I'm saying. I can't understand why. Like, I don't know. Well, I suppose they have to get it out of the way before the next round. But listen, the scheduling is all over the place, but there shouldn't be any debate over this. Klopp has decided that he's put out this team, he's put out a couple of forced teamers there, And now he needs them. He needs to play his next 2 league games. He needs a break. And if we want to play that replay in there, we have every right to put whatever team we want to. And teams all over the country do it. Whether Klopp is there or not, it doesn't really make a difference. He's basically going to say to Neil Critchley, my first team aren't playing. I'm now giving the FA Cup to your lads. Right, so the likes of Kelleher will play, Nico Williams. You'll see centre backs from, I don't know where they're going to pull centre backs from. You'll see LaRucci, you'll see SHRLIV, you'll see Jones. You'll see another couple thrown in there. Elliott will play, and he'll add 2 or 3 more in there, and that's absolutely fine. There shouldn't be any debate, and if anybody wants to get annoyed about it, let them get annoyed about it, because at the end of the day, they don't tell Liverpool Football Club what to do, and their decisions and their outcry doesn't, how do I put it? It doesn't have any bearing on what way Liverpool want to go about this season. You know what I mean? The young fellow we signed off, Brentford, first goal scorer, he has Dylan O'Rourke. That's a good shout. Stuff like that. People are saying maybe the Villa side, some lack of forwards might be an issue. Kevin Sullivan says there's no debate for me. This is the first I've heard of it, but the English press will vilify him for it. Let them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let them. Listen, there's reports come out tonight that Virgil van Dijk wants to leave the club after this season and go to Juventus. And that's simply, somebody saying that to try rock a boat. It's not going to rock a boat. And this is what you have to get used to. So, listen, let me say, just the way it is. Like Stephen Kingsley says, how can any manager of Liverpool in an FA Cup game not take charge? It's symbolic. Well, you can say that, and then you can ask how any top English side could decide not to play in the FA Cup, and you go back to Man United in the year 2000 or whatever it was, and they done it, and it was a massive split over that at the time. Oh, they should play or they shouldn't, and at the end of the day, the United, and you see with Liverpool in November or whatever it was, were forced into the issue because the FA and the Premier League and UEFA want them to go and play this. You can't make everyone happy, and Liverpool make the decisions based on what's best for Liverpool Football Club. And as they say, they've got 2 big league games, West Ham and Southampton. They have a break, and then they're back at it with it might be an away game against Norwich. I think it might be something like that. But Dylan O'Rourke says, bring back Phillips for another 3 days work experience. I don't think he'll be allowed to do that. Adam says, I've just convinced myself that the triple was a sensible thing to go for. Kids still have a shot. Listen, they do have a shot. At the end of the day, it is Shrewsbury. They played out with their skin. They took their chances, but at Anfield, what will happen? I'd still imagine Liverpool will have enough. But look, we leave the game there, we leave Klopp there, we leave everything there. We have to look forward. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, we're gathering some subscribers on YouTube, which is great. If you know anybody that likes Liverpool, likes talking about Liverpool, likes commenting on Liverpool, let them know about this channel. Let them subscribe, hit the bell icon, and as soon as we go live, you'll get that notification. It's easy. You just hit one subscribe button, one bell notification, and you're done. You don't listen. You can watch it one night a week. You might watch it 4 nights a week. Doesn't really matter. Go and do it. If you're watching it on Periscope, please share it onto your timeline. And we get loads of comments from Periscope and YouTube, and it's brilliant to see. And there's more and more new names popping up every week, and every show. To be honest, day on day. Let me see. Norred says whatever Klopp needs is fine by him. Absolutely fine. Stephen Mack, the Premier told every team not to play any games in the break and respect it. There you go. Well, we're playing FA Cup replays, so what can you do? We have to look for... as well, me and Keith have decided that if you want to throw in random questions, now is your time to do it. We're going to have a little chat about West Ham away coming up on Wednesday, and probably have a little touch on Southampton as well. I know the club are recording tomorrow night, so they will obviously look at them 2 games as well, but we're going to have a little look before them because we can. But if you want to throw in random questions, absolutely do so. We'll probably go another 20 minutes or so, Keith, will we?
Yeah.
Why not?
Easy peasy.
Why not? I don't think Keith's as bad as Andy, who keeps me fucking here for 3 hours. Let me see. Scrap the replays. It's the only fair way for everyone. That's a good idea. If you haven't got room in a schedule and you're scheduling games in a week where you're told not to schedule games, it could be one of those.
No, going back to the scheduling thing, Gav, there's United today gave Tranmere the blatant gangsters baiting.
Yeah.
And Tranmere only played extra time in their replay on Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then they're playing again on Sunday. That's madness. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a big game against Man United, and they're absolutely tore apart because they didn't have the legs. Not that they would have done that in anyway, but you know, it's nonsensical the way they're scheduling these things. So, you know, it's not the teams disrespecting, it's the organisers that are disrespecting, if you ask me.
Stephen Wensley says, match of the day starts and the numbers drop off. Yeah, it always happens. It always happens. People go, but listen, the people that stay here, usually for the random stuff, we have great crack with. The stuff with Andy the other night was off the mental. Good, well, me and Andy are thinking of doing that once a month, just Andy and Gav's big chat, and it just
sounds good.
It's madness. It really is madness. But Andy told people that they should do away with Chinese food. Listen, I don't know if I'll have him back on after that. But Kula King asks, any news on Mane? I haven't heard anything. I did hear one thing today that it could be 3 or 4 games he's out for, but he should be back for Atletico Madrid. Yeah. Let's hope. Nothing's really come out from the club, so you have to wait and see on that.
And he could do with a rest, in fairness, you know what I mean? I wouldn't look to rush him back, because he was playing that AFCON up till about the week before the season started, wasn't he? Like, and he came straight back in. I think he came on or something against Norwich in the first game. You were at that, weren't you? Did he come on?
Yeah,
in that one?
He did. He had,
and he wasn't expected.
Yeah, I think they'd probably be looking and saying, look, we do West Ham, we do Southampton. He has the week off, and then we see where we are, because nothing's really come out. Let me see. Carl says, I'll be walking through Sundrive Park tomorrow morning. Listen to this on the way to work, Gar. I presume he meant Gav, and loads of people call me Gar for some reason, and believe it or not, when I try to type Gav into the description of the show, it does come up Gar. I've done it myself, so I'm not going to hold that against you. JP Nolan says, Gav, what's your favourite ever Liverpool goal? Let me have a think about it. I do joke that it's Jordan Henderson's away at Southampton last season, but it's absolutely not. Stephen Max says, best show ever, Gav, the other night with Andy, best 1 hour 47 minutes ever. It was good, but go back to the one from a couple of weeks ago where we talk about, what were we talking about? I think it was something about, there's credit unions involved. There was, I think we've done it too. There's 3 of them we've done. We've done one after we beat Everton, I think, which was mad. We've done 3 of them, I think, but just mad, just absolutely mad.
The credit union want to get a loan for your leather jacket and your good shoes, was it?
Oh, $3,000, yeah. Spend on a mattress, a leather jacket, and some good shoes, yeah. Dylan O'Rourke says, Wimbledon's doubles. What celebrity are you taking as your partner? No tennis player allowed. Peter Crouch. I heard he's into tennis. I heard that on his podcast today. I'll have Peter Crouch. Keith, who would you have as your Wimbledon's double? It can be man or woman.
Cliff Richard.
Lovely
voice.
I'm sure if it rains, he can have another big sing song, couldn't he?
Well, that's it. Yeah, he's always there. He knows his thing. He knows his tennis.
The rumour is they put the roof on centre court at Wimbledon to stop that sort of show you happen and never again. Let me see. Mane has been playing football for 2 years straight because he's a monster. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Avo says slice of lemon and lime in. Avo, I don't know what's going on there. You need to ask the original question again. But looking forward to Wednesday. And I suppose, pick me a team.
Oh, I mean, right, so we're going, the big handsome Alisson Becker is going to be back in goal.
Presuming he doesn't have a christening on that day, but go on.
Well, he could do. If he does, Adrian will step in. You know, it's mad that we've got the best keeper in the world, and if you lose him, you don't really give a shit, because we've the second best keeper in the world as well there. Yeah. But yeah, if he's no church commitments on, he'll start on Wednesday. We'll have Virgil, unless he's eyeing up houses in Turin. We'll have Virgil and Gomez at the back. Trent and Robertson. Robbo's getting a bit of stick for got roasted against Usain Bolt there.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, I mean, that's like, I don't know. That's like Peter Kay has been mentioned here as Dylan O'Rourke's partner. That's like, you know, giving out because you could run faster than Peter Kay. You know, it's no competition. The fella is just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think Robertson's being fine.
Yeah, he has. He's been grand. But, you know, I think people are just looking. Robertson now is annoying so many people that, and they're looking for the slightest thing to lash him out, and then it carries. And no problems with Robbo at all. I think he's grand. So that'd be you'd imagine the back 5 will be the back 5. Can't see there being any changes there. Midfield then, right, we know 2 of them you'll take, Genie and Hendo. The third one, Ox hasn't been great.
Yeah. Dylan O'Rourke's put Keita
Fabinho
in
certainly
here.
wasn't great. Yeah, Keita, I wouldn't have even considered Keita, but the fact he's on the bench there, but then is it Russian? Like, he doesn't seem the most versatile, the most durable. You know, he could be anything can happen there. So there's a position up for grabs there. And anyway, going on it, you'd probably think Oxlade-Chamberlain will start because he's had the position, but. And then the front three, or the front two, sorry, and then Mane. I don't know what you think. Who goes in there? I hope it's not Origi. Not because he had a stinker today, just because. I don't know. I think.
Well,
I'd rather try something different than him.
I think he might go 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, if there's a time to do it, it's probably now.
I think he might go with the back five, as you said. I think he will go Wijnaldum, Henderson. I think he'll drop Bobby back into the 10 and put Salah up front. And then he has an issue. I think he might go Oxlade-Chamberlain down the right hand side.
Yeah.
And the left hand side is anyone's guess. Is it Origi? Does he keep Minamino in there? What way does he walk it? But it just shows, like, and I know, look, we're a brilliant side, but Mane is so integral to it. It's just, you know, because of its flexibility, he can play anywhere across that front three. And when you lose a player like that, it's an awkward one. But he may do that. But the mid, like someone's saying there, Fabinho, he could do Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Henderson, and just put Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in instead of Mane and go that way. But I think we'll have enough to beat them either way. You know, that kind of way.
Whatever we come out with, I think should be strong enough.
Are you any worries when it comes to West Ham?
No, I mean, they're shy, aren't they? They're pretty blatant. Garbage.
Did a good win against Bournemouth, I think, in Moyes' first game, and they've struggled a little bit since.
Yeah, they bet Bournemouth 4-0 in his first game, and then I have their results here in front of me. They bet Gillingham in the Cup, then they lost to Sheffield United, drew at Everton, absolutely horsed out by Leicester, and then
that's it.
FA Cup, they were beaten by West Brom then the other day as well.
Yeah, in the FA Cup.
So I mean, they're not in good form themselves. They're not a great team. I used to fear them because Upton Park was always a bit of a pig of a place to go. But now they're playing in that what's that called? What, the City of London Stadium?
Yeah, City of London Stadium. Yeah,
whatever it is, the London Stadium place has no soul at all. So you lose that sort of intimidation maybe from going to West Ham. So I think if we can just not be complacent, you know, just shake any shy out of the player. I know a lot of them that play tonight won't be involved, and the likes of Mo and Bobby only came on at the end. So, but if the likes of Fabinho was to start, just like get stuck in early, get into the game early, we should have too much for them.
Yeah, I think our work rate has to be on top notch, because when I look at the players they have on their side, like I'm gonna say Lanzini might be in it, Philippe Anderson might be in it. You look at Noble, hasn't got the legs. Simple as that. Declan Rice is one of the most overhyped players I've ever come across.
He's unbelievably overrated.
I just can't get over it. He should go back and play centre half.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he has what he needs to play in midfield in the Premier League. I just don't. I think he's strong. I think he's physical. He's not the slowest in the world, but I don't think he has the football and brain to play in midfield in the Premier League. That's just my shout on it. Yeah. And then you look at the defence and you think you can get at them. You really
if
can't. If
Zabaleta is still playing for them,
Zabaletta's there
now at right back.
The left back is not bad, but
Cresswell is it? Or
he's okay. They're centre halves. You can still get at them, but I just think if your work rate is spot on, your quality will come through. And listen, as bad as their stadium is, you know, for the location that it's in and the way it's all set up, that crowd turns on them extremely, extremely fast if you get a goal or two up, you know, so it's one of those. Stephen Max says Minamino needs 6 months to get onto our level, but he will. Somebody asked there, what's your choice of trainers, runners? What do you go for? Nike, Adidas? What are you going for?
Nike all day long.
Yours is Nike. I like Adidas. I
like Adidas, and if I was to be asked, now I have a mate who's an absolute runner freak, and it's Adidas all the way for him. And I'm like, I like Adidas, and then I look at my runners, and they're always Nike. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So
I'm I think I'm an Adidas man. I love Lacoste. I like Lacoste. I like Fred Perry. And other than that, Nike aren't really ones I go for.
My missus goes mad at me because I'm not young and I'm wearing shite that has air bubbles all over it, and she's like, "What are you like?
Yeah.
How old are you?"
Stop being a sap.
I'll never grow up. Yeah, I'll never grow up. I'm
Yeah.
getting things that the kids are wearing, but you know, it is what it is. I was only having a chat today actually about trainers. About, you see all the kids and all, not kids, teenagers, early 20s going around with like Gucci runners and fucking Valentino and all, paying 700 quid. Like, that's a madness. As me mate said to me, he says, if you can't go out and play football or climb the pram sheds in the runners, you don't want them.
Yeah.
You know, so
you're just wearing them around your house, aren't you? You're just taking pictures of yourself.
It.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't want to get them dirty, you know, that way. So yeah, now I'm a Nike man, preferably with bubbles or the new gimmicks. And that's a new gimmick, I'll try it out.
Right.
You know, if there's springs on them, or they light up, or they bleeding tight around laces, you know, see all that? Boom, gone.
You're in for it.
They have me, Take me money.
Dylan says he collects footwear himself. He would recommend Ultra Boost to anyone. Comfort is key. Haven't a fucking clue what that is. Dylan could be on a complete wind-up because I've never heard of it. Stephen Max says, bollocks to Nike, it's Adidas always. Not Red said there's great trainers in Primark. I'll have to believe you on that. Dylan asks, what's your worst poverty meal? Beans on toast, pot noodle, etc.
I have a load of these.
I don't know. I anything can take your fancy at any time, can't it? Anything. Like
Sugar Sambo.
Jesus, that's fucking, that, as Andy would say, like, that's tenement.
I grew up in the flats in the 80s, right? Sugar Sambos were a treat. Banana and sugar Sambos if you are really doing well.
I know my aunties and uncles. Now, my mother comes from a large family, and they were saying dripping on bread and everything.
Yeah. That's a big one. Dripping on bread, madness, isn't it?
Rotten, isn't it?
Red sauce on bread, brown sauce on bread, salad cream on bread. Basically anything on bread that was in the house.
And you know what's lovely? And people look down at banana sandwiches are lovely.
Yeah, bit of sugar. See,
banana sandwiches are grand. Cheesy beans on a jack of potato. You can't beat it, says Kev O'Sullivan. I'm not mad on jack of potatoes and stuff like that. Mashed potatoes I like. I really like. Adidas Samba, old as gold, says Cooler. Let me see. Sugar Sandwich is not Red. Jesus, he's from the same. He must.
There you go.
Must live in the same.
From the same flats, yeah.
Yeah, beans on toast, cheese if you're going well, says Mark Sproul. I don't mind beans. I love beans on toast. Beans on toast is great. Sorry, he says Adidas Ultra Boost. They sit on what looks like styrofoam.
It's the foamy soles on them, and they do all them bleeding. They're mad, and you squeeze them. It's like them Nike Reacts as well. The Element Reacts. You push a finger into them, it's like foam. Great.
Right. West Ham are all over the place, as about. The fans are fighting with each other. There's so much aversion for the owners, players, manager. It's just a horrible club. You can't be happy with David Moyes being there. Before we get on to more of these random questions, because they're flying in now, and we've about 10 minutes left. When I say 10 minutes, that could be 40.
Yeah.
Because you know the way, I suppose hold on time is not great. But
it's not the best.
No, it isn't. It really isn't. Give us a prediction for Wednesday night. We leave Southampton. We'll get to that later in the week.
I think we'll win, and it's probably is an arrogance. Some people say it's arrogance. I always think we'll win. I think we'll win easily enough. I think when we have our first team there, I think we'll win to 0, and I think it'll be something like 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
Okay. I think West Ham score. But I have a feeling it's 3-1. I'm going to go with 3-1. And I expect Salah to score. I'm just going to say that. Stephen Max said he could survive on beans on toast 3 times a day for the rest of his life. I don't know about that. Owen Redmond says butter on a digestive. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, I was a big fan of butter on cream crackers. Massive fan.
Love that.
Dylan O'Rourke says Nanny from Pear Street, which is in central Dublin. Used to get wedding cake and rich tea on bread. Oh, good Jesus.
There you go.
Mark Sproul says a bit of HP sauce on them too, Gav. HP brown sauce. Not too sure. Mark Sproul reckons 2-0 the Reds, measured and controlled. Stephen Max says 5-1. What else? I was gonna. Oh yeah, brown sauce. Right. So always a big topic. Amongst people I know is what brand of brown sauce is your favourite?
Where do we start?
Well,
I'm a brown sauce aficionado.
Right, so I'm gonna put something to you here.
We could do 40 minutes on brown sauce.
Right, I don't think we could, but let's see how we go. Right, I'm gonna put this to you. YR is the best brown sauce. And chef is way too sweet.
Yeah, okay, yeah. YR is chef. I like chef. It is a bit sweeter, alright. YR would have been the standard bearer. I do like HP as well.
Right now, someone said HP
I like
as well.
HP. I like Daddy's brown sauce.
Daddy's brown sauce. That sounds a bit weird, but okay.
There you go. No, it's a brand. Daddy's red sauce and brown sauce. It's an English one, but they sell it in Iceland and all. That's all right.
Okay.
I don't tend to go with the own brandy ones.
No.
But you know,
there is one. There is one that's done. You know, the big red bottle, the big red
like big candy bottles, big huge, the candy red sauce. That was that was Pavo sauce. That one, that was definitely
that was
tenement sauce.
North Red says eaten by a shark or a lion if you had to be eaten. That is. I think a shark mills you in seconds. I think a lion takes a bit longer.
Yeah, lion's more bleeding. See, the shark, you're in the water as well, so. Are you swimming in the water? Are you drowning? Are you panicking? It could be an awful death.
When he gets hold of you, you're drowning.
Yeah, but before that, you know, are you just sort of swimming? Are you in your boat? I don't know. I think that the lion one, you know, he's stalking you, and although a shark can stalk you as well, but the lion, lion flying the bollocks out of you. I think the shark take me in the water. Yeah, if I'm in there, I'm in trouble, and anyway, so. The shark puts me out of my misery. I'm not a big swimmer.
Yeah, no, I think a shark. I think so. I think if he gets a hold of you, you're in the water. He's biting half your body off, and you're just dying there and then. Yeah. I think a lion's a bit more meticulous and will just make you suffer a bit more. Dylan says butter vouchers for the candy red sauce, and he asks have you ever been to someone's house as a child and they whip out Aldi brown sauce? Hectic. Have you ever been to someone's house and they've whipped something out and you thought, oh no fucking way, how do I get out of this?
Oh yeah, plenty times. Yeah, jeez. I remember as a kid going to. Now it wasn't the shitty brown sauces or anything, but I remember me auntie brought me to
Owen Redmond is afraid of brown sauce. He hasn't figured
afraid of it.
Yeah. He's afraid of it, and he says, "Am I on my own? I have a feeling you are on." But
you're not living. You're not living on.
If anybody else is afraid of brown sauce, let us know. I'm sure we can put you and Owen in touch with each other, and you can talk it out. Go on, your auntie.
I know, my auntie brought me to a house years ago as a child, and you know when you're brought somewhere and they give you a shit food and you're afraid to say, no, I'm not eating that. And I remember eating it, scarred me for life, and I took a turn against that Elwyn as well. No, lovely woman, you know what I mean, but never forgave her for trying to force shit down. Well, I can't even remember what it was. Vegetables or something. It wasn't sauce, it was something healthy.
Yeah.
But it was disgusting. And it just traumatized me, you know. So, I think you can be scarred when you get brought to somewhere they bring out the shit food.
I can't remember ever being in anyone's house and thought, oh, this food or you know. But I tell you what, I always noticed as a kid, and even now, do you ever walk into people's houses and there's a smell in the house? Now I don't mean it's a bad smell, but there's and I don't mean a bad smell, but you walk into someone's house and you go, jeez, that smells completely different to my house. Does every house have its own smell?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah, it does,
does. Like, I get
from whatever, you know, the people might be a bit smelly or might have their own fragrances or things like that, but
like
their air fresheners, clean and stuff and all that.
And the whole mix of it all together, and it just has that's an authentic smell to that house.
Yeah. You could go in somewhere and say, right, this smells poxy, or you could go in and be like, nice.
Yeah, they're absolutely lashing potpourri and
you're going in to rob some of their aftershave or something. You know, like these have the good stuff here. You go in. I'm going for the dump. I'll go up to your ensuite. You go in there and you load up on all that Tom Ford aftershave and all. Like that's allowed. That's all right.
Stephen Mack has a big LOL. He says, at your man there, Gav. Sorry, I forget his name. Gas man, Keith. Keith is the man you're listening to. Avo had a mate who used to put butter on Weetabix and eat them dry. That's fucking disgraceful.
Oh, that's as bad as it gets. That
is years. That's bad. Dylan says he remembers years ago when he went for a sleepover as a child. The dad orders his Chinese usual setup 3 in 1. One weird young fella asks for orange duck. About 35 quid. Yeah, that's a bit mental. I presume everybody knows about Andy's mate or Andy's cousin's friend that only eats cheese. So there it go. Stephen Max says yes, it does, Gav. Every person has their own smell. I suppose everything that's going on in the house. Like, I get freaked out in my house, right? Because, you know, when you make a Sunday dinner, and my wife loves cabbage, right? So I take her or leave it. I'm going to be honest with you. I take her or leave it, and we'd make cabbage. I'd make cabbage. I usually cook the Sunday dinner in this house, right? I cook most things in this house, because I like cooking, believe it or not. And
like myself.
I love cooking. I love cooking and trying new stuff. I really do. But I get freaked out because I'll make the dinner, everything is fine, and there's one bedroom in the house upstairs, and the smell of cabbage in it is unfucking believable for hours afterwards. Just one bedroom, and it freaks me out. So cabbage annoys me a little bit, but there has to be a unique smell to every house you go into.
Going back to the Povo field, right? Cabbage brings me on. Like my man, all our sisters and all that. They grew up right in the flats. They grew up in tenement stuff. You know, one of these 26 of them in one room, all that shit. Yeah. The delicacy they got was cabbage water. You know, the water you boil the cabbage in, and they used to put it into cups and drink it.
Yeah,
they love it. They were all only talking about it there a while ago. Oh, the cabbage water. And we can't get our heads around that sort of carry on. But that was what they were into. I
could take or leave cabbage, but I did love, you know, if you made a Sunday dinner and you'd sum over, and what you do is you get the mash and you put the cabbage into the mash, and someone says they're bacon pieces. Mark asks bacon pieces. Yeah, throw them in, and you just fry them on the pan. Fry it all up on the pan, and I love that. I absolutely loved it. Avo says there's loads of scruffy kids that smell like biscuits. Just going back, someone else said earlier as well, Jaffa cake is a biscuit, end of story. I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
I'm not too sure.
It's called a cake.
Yeah, I'm not
a
bit
soft.
Sure.
I don't know.
What's your go-to food to make? Asked Dylan. It all depends. If I have people up, I'm making a lasagna tomorrow. I can tell you that for nothing. If anybody's around my way, feel free to drop in. I love making pies. You know, like ham. You know, people make ham and chicken pies. I throw loads of veg in it. The same with steak and veg pies. I love that. Shepherd's pie.
These puff pastry jobs.
Yeah. I don't use.
Do you
puff
make
pastry.
Your own?
No, I buy the pastry, but I don't use puff pastry. I'm not a big fan of it.
Short crust.
Short crust around the edges, and then like a phyllo sheet on top, which is really thin. I'll try anything. I'll try make anything. Stir fries, anything like that. But if I was to get up off this chair now and go in and make something, I love spice burgers. Love them, and they have to be with red sauce, and put them on bread with butter, and they're absolutely brilliant. Stephen Max says his sister told him that he smells like beans. That's a bit bad.
Smells like beans.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to smell like beans, would you? Isn't the gas how you'd like beans on toast, and then when you see the can sitting there afterwards, the smell out was like, fuck that. I'm like that. I just go, oh no, the smell out of that, the tin or the can off the beans is not nice.
I love beans. I eat beans for the last maybe 3 years. Every day for my breakfast I eat a tin of beans.
Do you? They're very good for you.
I know, but I walk in a little cubicle with about 8 other people, and I do be blowing me hole all day. Shit. And I don't know how there hasn't been a complaint made. Maybe there was, and I just never
got around to you.
Yeah, they never came to me, but I don't know. It's disgusting. So that smell of beans is disgusting, but that's not the actual beans. That's
everything else.
The after effects.
That's everything else. 5 more minutes, and then we're out of here. So, if you have any more random questions, throw them in. There's a lot of talk going around at the moment with regards to Liverpool winning the title and when they'll win it and stuff like that. Have you heard? I know you want it done by, I think you said Valentine's Day, which I think is a bit unreal. That's not happening. But is there a game that you look at? Because I know Paddy Power have brought out odds on when Liverpool win the league. I think it might be Palace at home, might be one of the favourites. But is there any game there where you think, that's the one? I think Villa at home is the one, to be honest with you.
What's the earliest realistic one? If we just win City, I think City will lose.
If City drop points and we win our next 8, and they drop points on any stage, we can win her at their place, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around that. I think they're going to... In fact, I think they could... Their fixtures are going to be a bit of a bleeding pig now. Aren't they around the Champions League? They've got... Now that they're capable of winning them, but I think they're going to put that focus. The fact that they got an absolute stinker of a draw and got Real Madrid,
they're rushing
they'll
Laporte
have
back
their
for it.
eye on that. Yeah, they'll have their eye on that, and I think they could sort of maybe drop even draws. No good to them, you know.
I did read.
I think it's over now, but
yeah, well, if you win on Wednesday, it's wherever. I just want this game on Wednesday.
That gets that game in hand out of the way, and it puts us. It plays God, it puts us bleeding 19 clear. Is that what we be at? We win 19 clear. I mean, it's just stepping on the throat of them.
Yeah, I just want to be on even amount of games and then see what the number is. Whether that's 17, whether that's 19, whether that's 16, I'm fine. Just once we're on even amount of games and we're able to.
Yeah.
Because I don't like this. If we win this and if we win that, I want
exactly. It's even though we don't win it, right? Well, this is what we are. We're level on games. We're level on this, and this is where we're going to go.
Absolutely.
But I just think it's great. Like, it's every week we're winning the league. You know, I think you win a game and everyone else, like, we've taken so much shite for all these years. We get mocked, Gerrard slips, laugh at the Scousers, laugh at the, bin dippers, all this crap, it's going to be our year. Every year it's going to be our year. Why would you be supporting them if you didn't think it was going to be our year? But now they're all getting, is it going to be unbearable? Fucking sure we're going to be unbearable. Every week we're winning that league, and it breaks the hearts of everybody, each win we get. And I'm talking fans, I'm talking media, I'm talking the pundits, the journalists, everyone. It's killing them all. So I think it's great. Whenever it's official, it's official. I think it'll be just case, another win. All right, officially they can't get it back now. The fact that we could win it, let's say, with 8 games to go, and then not get the trophy for another 7 games.
Yeah, you get it on the last home game. Like people are saying there, win at Goodison. Northred says win at Goodison, then carry the trophy through Stanley Park. Not quite how it works. Avo had a great fact about Jaffa cakes and biscuits and stuff like that. Avo, please put it back up because I just didn't get a chance to read it before it disappeared off my screen. Dylan says he's out to hit a couple of balls in the driving range Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Have you any tips? Dylan, message me after this and we'll have a discussion on it, and I might even get Andy involved. But any tips? Don't try hit the ball too hard. That's the first tip I give you. Don't try hit the ball too hard.
I have Avo's tip here. Avo's thing. Yeah. There's a loophole in VAT. If it's a cake, there's no VAT. If it's a biscuit, you pay VAT. Bit of useless info.
Brilliant. Right, well then it's obviously to do for VAT reasons. Dylan asks, can we get into pet hates? I hate when people say don't crack your knuckles, you get arthritis. I'll tell you what I hate. I hate when people eat Weetabix, stick it in and just like leave it on the draining board and it goes like you could literally you could build Everton Stadium on the remnants of it afterwards. I hate stuff like that. Stephen Mack said it's been over since we beat City to go 9 clear. Like I said, done by Christmas. City's next fixtures are a lot tougher than theirs. If we keep on winning, it's likely that they might drop points. I think if they drop points in one game and we win our next 8, we can win it there. I think that's the way it went. I'm not looking that far forward though. I'm just looking at what games are left, what points are available, and how many we're clear, and we'll see how it goes.
Just enjoy each game, because like that, it's every game's a celebration at the moment. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, like, and it's like, to me, I'd love to win at Anfield. I'm being honest with you. If it's Villa or Palace or something like that at home, I've absolutely no problem with it. Wait a couple of games, get the trophy at Chelsea, and then everybody can have a big party on the final day of the season. I have 2 plans. One, with the first chance we get, the first game that comes up where we can be crowned champions, I will be out that day, and if we do it, I will not be here the next day. And the second plan is I will be in Liverpool for the final day of the season. That's basically what I'm gonna do. Let me see. Have I anything else there? Stephen said it's mental crack on Twitter looking at the whole of England losing it. Yeah, they are. Over from Australia in May for this league party. Where's everyone hitting over the week period on the piss? Mark, if that's in Liverpool, just message us on YouTube there, or get us on Twitter is probably the easiest, or lfcdaytrippers@gmail.com. If you want to message us and tell us you're in Liverpool, there's a good few of us going over for the final day of the season. I know we're away in Newcastle, but it's a tradition we have where we go to Liverpool the last day of the season, whether we're home and away. If anybody's watching and they are going to Liverpool at that time, by all means, send us an email, send us a message on Twitter, and the more the merrier. That's the way we look at it. Let me see. How's Dry January going, says Dylan. I'm not on it. Andy's not on it either. He's drinking at weekends. It's not dry January. Don't let him tell you any different.
The worst dry January ever for Andy, isn't it?
Dylan says he listened to the 90-minute appearance, came across very well in a great chat. Yeah, it was a good hour, really good hour.
Yeah,
and
it was very good.
It's got a great reaction, so that's all you want, isn't it? Yeah. And fair play to Grizz and fair play to 90minute.com for having me over to do that. Anything else before we go, Keith?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Okay.
Nothing I can think of. I can't get brown sauce and cabbage sambos out of my head now.
Well, I'm going in to have spice burgers.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
And a big cup of tea, and then I'll find something on the telly to watch. I finished Shameless, the UK version. I watched the first.
That's great.
I watched the first 6 series of that when it was on TV, and then I just lost it. And I have the Channel 4 app. You can get all the series. I watched the whole thing, and I ended up finishing it last night, and then went back and watched the first 2 episodes of the first series again today. I think I'm a bit hooked, so I have to find something else to go back to. I know Better Call Saul is due out, so I'll go and probably find that as well. But I'll find something on the TV. I'll be fine. But we'll knock this on the head. I'll go and get this ready for download for people for their audio, like people walking through SHRLIV Park in the morning. Mark Rocco, I think his name was, he'll be watching it or listening to it in SHRLIV Park as he walks to work tomorrow. I'm sure there's plenty more there. Keith, thanks a million for joining us, and we'll talk to you during the week.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Gav.
Good stuff. Listen, lads, don't be too worried about this draw. It's grand. Neil Critchley and the boys will do the job in about 10 days' time. Liverpool have 2 massive league games coming up now before they get a little bit of a break and a little bit of respite and a little bit of a chance to get Sadio Mane back and forward. That's been the Fatback 480 for Sunday. As I said, the club is recording tomorrow evening and will be available tomorrow night for download. I will be back on Tuesday, probably in the afternoon time. My schedule's a bit all over the place, as you know, at the moment. But I'll try to get in on Tuesday afternoon, just have a little chat. If anyone wants to come on and chat, or even come on the Skype call and chat, you're absolutely welcome to. And Wednesday, we will be back post West Ham. After that, we'll see how we go as the week progresses. That's been it. Have a good one. Over and out.